Welcome to The Kitchen Chemist. I'm your boy, amateur pro home chef Nathanael Levinson, and today we're making crème brûlée. It's essentially a custard with a special little oomph on the side. So what you'll need are eggs, heavy cream, sugar, and vanilla extract. I'm going to be making a special seasoned one with some warming spices, allspice, cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove, and also some Kahlua and some espresso. That's totally optional. So this is kind of another one of those blank slate recipes where you can season it, or flavor it I should say, however you want to. So there's a lot of leeway. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to need to do is separate our egg whites from our egg yolks. We need 8 egg yolks. Do not throw these whites away. You can use them either for making a heart-healthy breakfast scramble, or you can save them and you can freeze these indefinitely. So you can freeze egg whites indefinitely to make angel food cake or anything that has a meringue in it. Now the important thing to note is, if the yolk breaks, you cannot use that white for meringue, because if there's even a little bit of yolk in the egg white, it will not whip, because egg yolks have a compound called lecithin in it that is an emulsifier, and it'll prevent the egg whites, which are primarily just a protein called albumin, it'll prevent the egg whites from forming those stiff peaks that you get when you whip them really hard and aerate them. So now to a medium saucepan, we're going to add 2 cups of heavy cream. Now, you might see like heavy cream, heavy whipping cream, light whipping cream, like what's the difference between those? Well, it all has to do with the percentage of milk fat in them. Anything that's marked whipping cream or heavy cream will do fine. That's, I think, around 18% milk fat. But you probably can get away with light whipping cream, I guess, if you're watching the calories, but you're making custard for dessert, you shouldn't be worried about the calories. So 2 cups of heavy cream. And to that, we're going to add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. We're going to heat this up on the stove until it almost comes to a siver. We don't want to boil this, because then it'll separate and get kind of wonky. But we do want to heat it up until it's steaming. So put it on the stove, medium heat, medium low heat. It'll give it about 10 minutes to heat up and get to the point where the top is steaming. Once your cream is heated through, now we're going to add it to the eggs, but we're going to do this in parts. So we need to do what's called
tiers of vanilla.
Tempering eggs, because if you just take a hot liquid and pour it into eggs, what are you going to get? That's right, scrambled eggs. And we already did that episode, so we don't need to do that anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a small amount. This is a very common thing in egg-based cooking, especially custards and desserts and things like that. We're going to take our hot cream mixture, put a little bit into the eggs, whisk it, and then slowly add more and more until we've added about half of the liquid into our eggs. Then we're going to add the whole thing back and strain it so that any bits that did get cooked or coagulated, we get out. And now we're going to strain this back into the pan to make sure we don't have any lumps. And we did pretty good. Not a lot in the strainer, but, you know, better strained than sorry, right? So now we're ready to cook this. And you can just put this in a casserole dish and put it in the oven and cook it, but that's not how you're supposed to cook crème brûlée. But you can do that if you don't have access to the following tools. Ramekins. These are little ceramic cups. This is what crème brûlées are traditionally cooked in. And what's really nice about these is they make individual servings. So you just give 1 to each person. And crème brûlée is something that can be served warm or cold, and it's traditionally served cold. So I'm going to put about half of my mixture into 2 ramekins, and you don't want to fill them more than 3/4 of the way. Now that I have this base custard mixture, you can add whatever seasonings you want to. You can even make, if you took out the sugar and the vanilla, you could actually make savory crème brûlées, but we're not doing that today. So now to my remaining mixture, I'm going to add a double shot of good espresso, a splash of Kahlua, and then I'm going to add some spices. So a little bit of nutmeg, and these are like 1/4 teaspoon amounts. A little bit of clove, maybe 1/8 teaspoon of clove, of allspice, of cayenne pepper, and then maybe 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. We want to whisk that together well, and then we'll put it in our other 2 ramekins. Now comes the tricky part. What you're supposed to do is put the ramekins into a large pan and then fill it with warm water up until about halfway up the cup. So this is best done at the oven because you do not want to try to transport these with a bunch of liquid sloshing around. So put the roasting pan on your oven rack, put the ramekins in the pan, and then pour the water in and put it in. Oven at 325, it should take 15 to 20 minutes or until the custard is set in the middle. And you can do the insert a knife and take it out. If it comes out clean, it's done. So we pulled them out of the oven and they look gorgeous, still a little jiggly. What makes creme brulee different from your average Joe custard is the addition of a little bit of fire. Now, let me say that this part is potentially dangerous. If you're not comfortable with it, you should not do it. Make sure you're using a torch that has a food-safe fuel, so propane or butane only, please, not fuel mix or whatever that is. I got this at Lowe's. It was like 30 bucks, and I use it for lighting cigars and for making creme brulee. That's what I use it for. If you're not comfortable doing that, what you can do is you can lay out a piece of parchment paper, sprinkle some sugar on it, put it in the oven under the broiler and keep a close eye on it, and it will caramelize into a nice disc. You just pick it up and put it on your creme brulee. But if you're adventurous, get some sugar, and you can use white or confectioners, I prefer white, and sprinkle a thin layer evenly on top of your creme brulee. So once you've done that, you're gonna turn your torch on, and you don't wanna have it on too high heat, right? Because you're not trying to blast this into oblivion, you're just trying to melt the sugar. So turn it down to a nice controllable, and then you want to heat it up over the sugar and continuously move it because you don't want to burn it. Just move it, and it'll melt and caramelize, and you'll get this nice glass-like caramel coating the top of the creme brulee. Once this is cooled, it will create this, again, hard shell of candy over your nice creme brulee, nice soft creme brulee. You can kind of hear it. Shh, listen. Ah, still good. And then when you are ready, girl, I'm about to dive in. Get a nice spoonful. See, we still have some, that's not hair, that is sugar. It's caramel, candy floss. So we got this nice jiggly custard with this hard, crunchy candy shell, which makes for a very appealing contrast. So then, all right. Oh man. It really is decadent. It's just rich and creamy and sweet, and the sweetness of the custard is different from the sweetness of the sugar. The sugar is like this bite of sweetness, and the custard is very mellow, so you get this contrast of the hard candy with the soft custard. Now let's try my special coffee spiced one. Now, because we added extra liquid to this one's not going to set quite as firmly, at least until you chill it. Oh man, that is fantastic. It's just like a dirty chai latte dessert. It's fantastic. It's got those warming spices, a little bit of bite from that cayenne that I put in there. And you taste the coffee, you taste the Kahlua. This is a very versatile dessert, and I encourage you to go and kind of explore what kind of flavor combinations you like in there. You can literally just put some fresh fruit in there and it comes out fabulous as well. Until next time, I'm amateur pro home chef Nathanael Levinson. I'll leave you with that. Hey, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, let us know what you'd like to see on the channel. If you want to get in touch with us, we've got a Twitter at KitchenChemYT. We've got an email, therealkitchenchemist@gmail.com. We've also got an Instagram at KitchenChemistYT. So please, we'd love to hear from you guys. Let us know what you'd like to see next.